Good morning to all of you out there. I'm Cito Beltran, and you are watching the program Agenda on Signal TV channels 8 and 250 and on the live stream platform of One News PH on Facebook. Today is May 6th, Wednesday, and I guess all of you are just recovering, or most of you are just recovering from the shocking events last night where the broadcast giant ABS-CBN formally announced that they would be going off air due to a cease and desist order from the NTC. We will tackle that along with other concerns through the program, and we will be interviewing an official of the NTC, a lawyer who is familiar with these matters, and of course, other guests that we have lined up for the day. And before any of you start ranting and raving about what's happening, I just want to make a point. Just in case Solicitor General Jose Calida is feeling so great about himself, well, this is not really your victory. And if you call this your victory, it's a false victory against Channel 2 and the media in general, because you did not win this case, Mr. Calida. The franchise of Channel 2 formally expired. And of course, that brings up other questions, such as who's going to take the blame for all of this? Ironically, we now have members of Congress who are showing up in front of the TV or responding to calls of the media saying, oh, we did our best. We actually spoke to the NTC. We are supposed to have a hearing about this. Well, I have the memory of an elephant. And if I remember correctly, the Speaker of the House of Representatives himself said that they had more important things to tackle, that they had priorities. The chairman of the Legislative Franchise Committee in Congress was nowhere to be found. In fact, it was his assistant or his second man who was talking to the media when this thing all became a serious concern because the franchise of Channel 2 was expiring. So just before we get into the program, I just want to point out to many of you viewers there, let's not be fooled. Let's not be fooled by those people who are claiming to be now kakampi of the Kapamilya channel. They were the ones who delayed, who disregarded, who sat on this franchise. And in the other Congress, in the Congress before them, I have been told by insiders in Channel 2 that the franchise application was not filed because it was just such an expensive endeavor. So all of you go figure what that means. In any case, before I get carried away, I thank the good Lord for reminding me that I need to read the headlines. But before I do read the headlines, just a food for thought. While we will be tackling what's going on with the franchise or with the closure of TV of Channel 2, might I remind the people who are responsible for bringing this about that may bukas pa, baka bumangon pa si Cardo. And if there are class suits filed in an international court, there will be a lot of money to be paid by people who caused the unemployment, the overnight unemployment of 11,000 Filipinos. There will be suits filed for the disruption of business and for actions that were inimical to the business of the Kapamilya station. In any case, let's go to the headlines. A few minutes before 8 o'clock last night, May 5, 2020, television giant ABS-CBN officially went off air in compliance with the cease and desist order of the National Telecommunications Commission, or NTC. The NTC gave the order yesterday following the expiration of ABS-CBN's congressional franchise, which previously allowed the company to use television and radio frequencies for the airing of its content. This franchise was given March of 1995 through Republic Act 7966. It expired last Monday, May 4. With the NTC order, the network has stopped operations of ABS-CBN, DZMM, MOR, and DZMM Teleradio. On today's agenda, we will talk to the Deputy Commissioner of NTC, Edgardo Cabarrios, to get the real score on the matter. We will also have Attorney Tony Lavinia to give us legal insight into what comes next for both NTC and ABS-CBN. In COVID-related news, the palace announced that 7 local government units have asked the national government to place their areas under enhanced community quarantine or ECQ. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque did not identify the LGUs. He also did not disclose the reasons of the local officials for their requests. Currently, Metro Manila, most of Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Pangasinan, Benguet, Iloilo, Cebu, Bacolod City, and Davao City are the areas still under ECQ. The national government continues to look for ways to curb corruption, particularly concerning the Social Amelioration Program. One example is the 30,000 peso reward for those who will report corrupt practices linked to the program. Last Monday, President Rodrigo Duterte lashed out as a certain barangay official in Bulacan who allegedly pocketed half of the cash aid for the beneficiaries. The palace has also previously urged the public to call hotline 8888 to report anomalies on SAP funds distribution. The Finance Department, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation all made it clear that the Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators or POGOs will still pay their tax obligations, even if they will be treated as BPOs. Senator and Minority Leader Franklin Drilon earlier said that classifying POGOs as business process outsourcing firms could mean billions of revenue losses for the government. But the Department of Finance, BIR, and PAGCOR in various statements all said that nothing of the new normal operations will change the taxability of POGOs. So there you go. Those were most of the headline stories of the Philippine Star, and we will continue to monitor the news. Now, I have no idea because we are on remote. Okay, let's find out if we already have the Deputy Commissioner of the National Telecommunications Commission, Edgardo Cabarrios. Deputy Commissioner, are you there already? We will just check. Okay. Good morning, Deputy Commissioner. Ako po ay nagagalak at ako ay impressed. I am impressed because you have the courage and the professionalism to face media in spite of this, shall we call, controversial times for the NTC. Kamusta na po kayo?
Okay naman po, part of the job po yan. So, we are performing our duties pursuant to law po.
Okay, Deputy Commissioner, paano po ba napagkasunduan ng NTC? Kayo po ba ay may board? Kayo po ba ay merong panel na nagpulong? Did you have a group of commissioners or deputy commissioners or what have you that met and came to the agreement or to issue the cease and desist order to ABS-CBN?
The commission po is a collegial body composed of 3 members, no? The commissioner and the 2 deputy commissioners, members of the collegial body. So, nag-limit po kami in end of session to decide on cases. Then ito is recommendations submitted to Commission pinag-aralan, and then we discussed. So yun po nangyari dito sa case po ng ABS-CBN.
Okay, ako po ay magtatanong lang ng mga pangkaraniwang tinatanong ng mga mamamayan. Ano po? A lot of people are asking, okay, how long did it take the collegial body of the NTC or the three commissioners to decide on this matter? Kasi marami na bigla eh. Maraming nabigla na biglang nagpadala na kayo ng letter, tapos na yung boxing, knockout na yung Channel 2. People were assuming that this would continue, but biglaan.
Well, ang issue po kasi is napaka-delicate because it concerns freedom of expression, freedom of speech, it concerns mga employment, etc. So talagang pinag-aralan mabuti, and we have three options, no? The first option is yung grant of provisional authority based on the resolution of Congress. Is one option. The other option is walang gawin, no? Just leave it that way. Tulad po ng ginawa in past Congresses, CBCP and the others. And the third option is issue the CDO.
Okay,
so,
and
on the first one, can NTC issue a provisional authority based on the resolution? The findings po is that hindi pwede because pursuant to law, only those with valid congressional franchises can the Commission issue any type of authorization, whether it's provisional or permanent. These authorizations are all predicated on valid congressional franchises, and once the congressional franchise expired, all authorizations also expire. So
okay.
Yun po yung finding number two is pwede pang wala nang gawin, no?
Yes.
Tulad in the past, because in the past po kasi there were exchanges of notes, exchanges of letters, and sabi ho ng Kongreso, while the application for renewal is pending before before Congress, consider the operation of let the operation continue. So yun po yung sinunod ng commission. We did not issue anything, no? But in this particular case po kasi, mayroong cases filed in court, no? Challenging the validity of the congressional franchise of ABS-CBN. Mayroong mga opinions na left and right on the issue, no, of ABS-CBN's franchise, etc. Coming from legal luminaries, former justices, police justices, of course, other legal luminaries, mga known persons, personalities. So hindi pwede na walang gawin ang commission. So we are left with one option. The third option is pursuant to Section 1 ng Act 3846 na hindi pwedeng mag-operate any radio broadcast station, including television, na walang valid congressional franchise. So with that, all authorities, the authorization granted by ABS-CBN has expired. So there is no reason for ABS-CBN to continue operating. Kaya nag-issue na CDO ang commission.
Okay, so you issued a cease and desist order. Ang isa sa mga tanong, kayo po ba ay kumonsulta sa Malacanang at sa Office of the Solicitor General bago ninyo ni-release itong CDO? Because you already asked the DOJ for their opinion. The Congress, the lower house of representatives, where the franchise emanates, already expressed through a resolution their position on the matter, that they are the sole authority and source of the franchise at hindi kayo. And the Senate also expressed their sentiments that they would pass the franchise. But did you consult the Solgen who was basically saying na pag hindi nyo binigyan ng CDO yan, magkakakaso-kaso? Did you also ask Malacanang clearance before releasing the CDO?
Hindi po, because there was a letter coming from Solgen, and there was also a letter coming from TikTok. At marami pong mga nag-express ng mga kanya-kanyang opinion on the matter, no? So, lahat po ito ay pinag-aralan mabuti, kinonsider ng aming legal staff dito. At deliberate po yan, and walang ibang option kundi option 3, which is the issuance of a CDO. So yun po ang nangyari, no? So lahat po pinag-aaralang mabuti, no? So, well, as I've said, yun po yung naging decision ng commission, taking into consideration lahat po ng information available sa commission.
Okay, the timeline goes that in March, the Congress gave a resolution. Nagpunta po doon si Commissioner Gamaliel Cordoba at sinabi na mag-i-issue ng ng provisional authority to operate. But why did you people wait until the last minute to issue this cease and desist order? I mean, parang you already assumed that they would continue to operate. You did not tell them, we did not hear the NTC saying, sorry guys, wala na yung franchise nyo, you will have to close. Parang yung the nature of a cease and desist order was parang force of law and presumptive that the ABS-CBN would disregard law. And bakit biglaan? Kasi I guess my personal concern is 11,000 employees lost their job overnight.
Well, that's the reason why it took the commission quite some time kasi marami apektado eh.
But did you give, sir, sorry sir, no? Pasensya na, Commissioner.
Wala ng trabaho. So, affected, ano? So, pinag-aralan po talaga mabuti, and we were trying our best really to come up with a win-win solution. But there is only one option pursuant to law. So, yun po yung naging decision ng Commission, and this came after deliberating yesterday na CDO is in order. Kaya inisyo yung CDO in the afternoon of today.
Did you give ABS-CBN management at least a heads up na guys, we have no recourse, and whatever happens, whatever we decide, you better start planning the process? Or there was really no indication or warning from the NTC that this is going to happen?
Well, personally po, I personally have not talked to anybody on the matter kasi it has to be deliberated na walang interference, whatever it is, no? Purely on facts, etc. Kaya nga it took quite some time for us to decide. So I'm not aware.
Hello? Okay, I think we got cut off, but maybe we can just ask our technical team to please ask the Deputy Commissioner to relocate his position, because it's ironic. He's with the NTC and the signal sucks like that. But in any case, evidently the NTC did not, based on what I picked up from this interview, none of the NTC officials gave fair warning to ABS-CBN. There were no indications that the NTC would do this, because based on the hearings in Congress, based on the resolution issued by Congress, that they had requested the NTC to issue a provisional authority. Now, here's the catch here, because by issuing that resolution and by acknowledging that resolution, what happened was Congress stood as a guarantor for ABS-CBN that ABS-CBN will get its franchise. But now the NTC does not recognize that arrangement that took place in Congress because of the clear act that they took, which was to issue the cease and desist order. So what happens is, magkakagulo ngayon. Bakit? 11,000 employees suddenly jobless overnight. Now, then, of course, the business losses, and not to mention that in spite of their historical success as a broadcast giant, I am certain that like any company, corporation, ABS-CBN have loans that they acquire to further improve their facilities, their operations, etc. And banks will be affected by this. So not only are suppliers affected, banks are affected, employees are affected, not to mention the many million viewers of Channel 2 here and abroad. So in essence, the National Telecommunications Commission did their job. I mean, we have to be fair. They did their job. Let's try Deputy Commissioner Cabarrios again. Edgardo Cabarrios, sir, are you there? Okay, let's try that. Commissioner? Okay, we do not have the connection. Let's go for a landline connection or whatever. But in any case, I mean, hats off to Deputy Commissioner Cabarrios because, I mean, under the current circumstance, he's a very gutsy fellow. He has the cojones, as they say, to come out on TV. He's been doing that since yesterday. He came out on TV, spoke to people on radio, explaining the position of the NTC. And sad but true, the NTC is what you call someone caught between a rock and a hard place. Napit po sila, naipit sila sa sitwasyon na ito at wala silang magagawa. Ang problema lang dito, madudurog ba sila? Because obviously, some people in Congress are going to play the blame game and they are going to go after the NTC. Of course, the NTC's way out here is if Congress gives them an ultimatum or gives them, I don't know, what can Congress give them? We'll find out from other people. Okay, let's go for a quick break and we will try to connect to other sources. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Thank you for being patient. Please stay tuned. Okay, you're back here on Agenda. You are watching us via Signal TV, channels 8 and 250, and the Facebook Live of One News PH. Normally, I'd be disappointed that I couldn't first get a clear reception and interview with the Deputy Commissioner of National Telecommunications, and the fact that we actually ended up losing the connection. But I have to take my hats off to him, to Edgardo Cabarrios, because he came on board, he tried to explain, and like I said, they're caught between a rock and a hard place. But what are the options of Channel 2? What is the legal scenario that will play out here? Let's find out from a regular on Agenda. Let's talk to Professor Attorney Dean Tony Lavinia. Good
Morning,
morning, sir.
Tito. Good morning.
Uh,
Good morning to all your
oh,
viewers.
okay, Dean, I think we have a feedback on the line. Would you happen to have an earphone?
Yes.
Okay, maybe you could, if you could use that.
Better ba?
Yeah, it would be better. Anyway, this is work from home for all of us, so it's all okay. Because I really need to have a clearer discussion with Dean Tony Lavinia, because there are repercussions to what's happened. First, 11,000 jobs, bank loans, business, shares of stock that collapse, etc. And if I don't know, I'm not the expert here. I don't know much about law, but history tells me that at some point, a bunch of people can get together and file for a class action suit. They can actually sit down and file much later when all of this ECQ thing is over and done with. And they can haul certain people to courts, and not just in the Philippines, but perhaps in international courts for what's happened to them. Let's find out if we already have Tony Lavinia on the line. Okay, we are, well, it's one of those days where we are having connection problems. That's curious. We're having connection problems the day after ABS-CBN closes down. Yeah, I know I'm so much into these conspiracy theories, but in this day and age, what else are you supposed to think? Congress says, we'll wait. We will wait for the franchise. We will wait for the right time to tackle the franchise of ABS-CBN. And just when they're about to collapse in the finish line, oh, we're trying. Oh, we're trying to help them. We're trying to speed it up. And oh, NTC, do this, do that. And then ABS-CBN is shut down. And you might be wondering, why is Cito just going on and on about this? Well, it could have been us. A year ago, it could have been us. There's really no telling because, okay, this all started between the president and Channel 2. And I respect that. But then again, it's not only the president. I mean, the Solicitor General got into the act, and everything's just gone really insane. So it could have been us, it could be you, it could be anybody. And under this circumstance, I mean, I think what pisses me off is that there was no indication that this was going to happen. Was this surprise intentional? Or was this surprise closure, this surprise cease and desist order, all part of a scheme to make sure that Channel 2 would be caught off guard, ABS-CBN would be caught off guard and would be unable to do anything, find any recourse? I don't really know. But let's go back to our guest, Dean Tony Lavinia. Good morning, Dean. Okay. Just take a. I think your mic is in mute this time. That is the reality of work from home. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we'll sort this all out in due time. And in the meantime, let's go to other topics for today. I just want to allow me to go back to my notes here. Now, here's the issue. Okay. Let me go back. Oh, by the way, the Senate has reportedly received, accepted, or supported the Balik Probinsya program. Balik Probinsya proposal of Senator Bongo. And we have been trying to get the good senator to come on the program or connect with us on the program because this is a very, very important program. And I have been harping at this for so long that we need to depopulate Metro Manila. We need to primarily get all the construction workers who were stranded here and send them back to the provinces. Apparently, there have been movements on the ground regarding this. I think the League of Governors are requesting that if any OFW or workers are sent back to the provinces, that they should all be tested. Now, I don't know how we're going to do that. Maybe we can hit two birds with one stone, testing all of these workers who are stranded in Metro Manila, which would then give us a good profile of the people who may have contracted COVID-19, who may have recovered from COVID-19 without even realizing it and have the antibodies, and who are still free from COVID-19. So the League of Governors have requested that, and we hope that all parties concerned can put that together. Now, let's go to another guest who's lined up for today. We have Secretary William Dar of the Department of Agriculture, and let's hope third time lucky. Secretary William Dar, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Cito. Good morning po sa lahat po na nakikinig or nanonood. Kumusta po kayo?
First of all, yun nga po, kamusta na po kayo dyan sa Department of Agriculture? Kamusta na kayo? Kasi nababali-balitaan ko sa mga kaibigan natin na marami kayong ginagawang programa ngayon, marami kayong activities. Balita ko, namimigay daw kayo ng mga biik. You are releasing piglets to revive the backyard hog racing industry.
Tama po, tama po. Alam niyo, we have to analyze the whole situation as brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. So sabi namin that tatlong stages ito. Nasa survival stage tayo towards the end of the year. But while surviving, we need to plan properly how to reboot the Philippine agriculture. rebooting Philippine agriculture, which is considering the new normal, Sito.
Okay.
And in rebooting Philippine agriculture, we should see to it that we change a little bit the paradigm, increasing food sufficiency level because of the global distortions of trade. We need to produce as much as we could, any food that we need, basic commodities that we have to have in the country. So nasa stage na po kami. And going back to your first question, yes, under our existing refocus banner programs and projects, we are really enhancing the distribution of seeds, seedlings, and even mga native chickens, mga biik sa pork, and fish, yung tilapia, bangus, para itong taon na ito ay may taas natin yung level ng food production natin. Ito.
Okay, before ECQ happened, bago tayo nagkagulo-gulo na dito sa COVID-19 na ito, we had a very unfortunate situation na yung mga nagtatanim ng gulay sa bandang mountain province, sa northern part, nag-overproduce sila na hindi naman madala sa Metro Manila hanggang inabot na ng COVID-19, and thankfully some mayors tried to buy from them. But given those situations of poor programming, overproduction, overdependence, ano na po ba ang magagawa ng kagawaran to make sure that we have a balanced distribution of production? Kasi katulad nung gulay, alam ko nung lumalaki kayo, lumalaki ako, hindi na tayo masyadong umaasa sa mga ganong sources. Kasi in our own backyards, we were producing them. In the barangays, we were producing them.
Tama po. Sito, ganito po, even during these last 6 weeks, during this ACQ Luzon, ay itong problema sa Benguet, particularly, even Nueva Vizcaya sa Bamban, yung production ng mga production and marketing ng mga vegetables and fruits, ay doon natin in-expand, tinaas yung antas na yung kadiwa natin, kadiwa ni Ani at Kita, at marami tayong mga pribadong sektor na kumpanya na tumulong, na ito yung mga kumpanya na may social enterprise ang orientation, at sila po yung kasama po natin na nagdala yung mga produkto galing doon sa production, doon sa trading post sa La Trinidad Benguet at saka sa Bamban Nueva Vizcaya. So that we have helped a lot in terms of really marketing the produce, even if it is surplus, ay dinala po natin dito sa Metro Manila, karamihan. So itong kadiwa ni Ani at Kita, we have many mechanisms like Kadiwa Express. Ito yung tracking of the vegetables from Benguet and from Nueva Vizcaya towards Metro Manila. Then Kadiwa on wheels, ginagawa rin natin dito sa Manila, even now. Then the Kadiwa online, yung mga LGUs na gustong bumili ay pwedeng mag-order through Kadiwa online, at yung Kadiwa Express ibabagsak dito sa Manila at dadalhin agad sa LGUs. So in short, this is now operational nationwide, itong Kadiwa ni Ani at Kita. Now this week, Sito, because of new normal, ay mayroon na tayong plataforma na ang tawag natin ay e-Kadiwa, at apat na vendors ang kasama dito po sa e-Kadiwa. Meaning, it's anyone can now order their fruits, their vegetables, their fish, and or other products coming from agriculture through the e-commerce that we have put up. And ang ganda po ang response. So Kadiwa is becoming an important platform with which we can help the farmers get a better price and also for the consuming public to get the best of affordable prices.
Okay, now you mentioned Kadiwa. I guess what's on the mind of many people, kasi matapos nung Marcos regime, pumasok na sila Cory, Fidel Ramos, sila Erap, si GMA, parang nawala yung bagsakan ng bayan dyan sa may Taguig, sa FTI. Nawala yung mga point areas. Now, yung sinasabi ba ninyong Kadiwa on wheels, at saka, kasi parang ang nangyari, lumalabas lang yung Kadiwa pag may disaster. And people are saying, dapat yata i-institutionalize na ito, bara-barangay na.
Tama po. We have FTI as a partner dito po sa the whole food marketing system. FTI is now a big part of this Kadiwa. Sila po ang bagsakan. And there are private sectors now utilizing yung mga iba't ibang facilities ng Kadiwa, ng FTI. And from this experience ito, tama po yung sabi po ninyo, na institutionalize natin itong Kadiwa. I see the need and we are drafting the proposal to make it possible. Kagaya po dito sa Metro Manila Cito.
Yes, sir.
We have to have, so FTI nandyan na sa South. So dito sa eastern part ng Metro Manila, kagaya bordering Manila and Rizal, ay dapat mayroon tayong isang area na catering to the produce coming from Eastern Seaboard. At dito po sa northern part, we are going to pursue that. And I understand, mayroon malaking food terminal na pinaplano po ng MVP with Rungis Market from France, dito po sa Clark. So these are good areas na i-preposition itong mga bagsakan na malalaki para dito po ay malaking tulong kung may problema na dito sa Metro Manila. We need this to be properly institutionalized.
Okay, matanong ko naman po kasi ewan ko kung nakikita nyo sa monitor ninyo itong mga prutas, gulay na nilalabas namin. Eh alam nyo, pag nakikita ko yung litrato ng puro imported na prutas, medyo kumukulo yung dugo ko kasi two concerns, sir, no? Masyadong maraming imported fruits na pumapasok sa Pilipinas na nawala na yung mga local fruits, nawala na yung mga local fruits sa ating mga eskaparate, sa mga display areas. And then, another concern that many Filipinos have been complaining for the longest time. Alam nyo, napakatakaw kung kumain ng alimango. Noon po, alimango, malalaki. Plato, isang platong alimango. Lahat daw ine-export na at ang binebenta sa Pilipinas o sa Metro Manila, tira na lang. Yung mga reject, mga undersize, yung talangkang nagpapanggap na alimango siya. What will happen under the new normal when the foreign markets are depressed? We are all freaked out by COVID-19. Are we going to have corrective policies and legislation para
kasama po doon sa rebooting now, and the policies are really adapting to this new normal where we now have a program answering this the impact of this pandemic. At ang tawag po natin dito ay ahon lahat, pagkain sapat. This is kontra COVID-19. At ang popular name nito, Cito, ay Plant Program. Meaning, yung lahat po ng commodities, na basic commodities, kagaya yung nasabi na ninyo na mga prutas, ay itaas na natin yung ating investment level. And itaas natin yung production, yung productivity ng mga itong mga pwede natin naman i-sustain over time na mga commodities na talagang may competitive advantage tayo towards the end. That's one basic principle. So yes, itong plant program has now been welcomed in most cases, and maganda po you know even with COVID-19, maganda yung response po ng mamamayan dito po sa plant program kasi already the pandemic has brought us back to basics na dapat talaga karamihan ng ating mga kailangan na pagkain ay dito natin i-produce po dito sa bansa. And that's why, again, reiterating the invitation that we are, requesting the private sector, sila po dapat mag-invest na sa agrikultura. Kasama po, of course, the government has to show the way in terms of increasing its investment or budgetary support for agriculture. And even so the private sector will be leaders. Then we also have to engage and encourage the local government units to also do the same. Kasi sila rin yung maapektuhan at the first instance kung may mga pandemic na kagaya nitong COVID-19. So yes, we are upping the game. The policy redirection is starting. We are building up this new normal framework for us to reboot Philippine agriculture.
Meron po ba tayong program for the barangays? Kasi, during COVID-19, Secretary, many of us realize yung kalamansi pala ay indispensable for vitamin C. Yung luya pala, pag hinalo mo sa kalamansi, ay magandang depensa para sa immune system natin. And then, katulad ng sinabi ninyo na pag tinamaan ng COVID-19, baka yung mga bara-barangay walang makain kasi hindi na dumadating yung pagkain sa kanila. Do we have a barangay-based model already that requires the LGUs to start planting fruit trees? Kasi alam nyo, kinapikon ko, Secretary, nung hinawakan na ng engineers ang pagpapaayos ng Metro Manila, ay biglang ayaw na nilang magtanim ng mga puno sa lansangan kasi raw makalat ang dahon. Ngayon, ang kinakain natin, apples and oranges, hindi kahimito, hindi santol, etc.
Ngayon, Cito, itong dalawang stream, not only in the barangays that we have barangay, gulayan sa barangay. So iba't ibang vegetables, iba't ibang prutas. Ang ongoing na po ito in a massive way. Ganon din dito sa Metro Manila areas, itong metro areas all over the country. Mayroon tayong urban agriculture. And that's again ensuring household food security. Yun ang first level. While supporting yung tinatawag natin na commercial production. Now, ang urban agriculture kasama rin dyan ang aquaponics, yung tilapia raising even in just 2 square kilometers na may vegetables dito sa 2 square meters na kasama na rin ang vegetable production dito sa taas niya. So lahat po nagdidisenyo na tayo. There are lots of technologies that now we are promoting in a big way, and it's real good feeling that every Filipino is now responding to this call of really plant. Dito po sa barangay mas lalo, hindi lang vegetables and fruits ang binibigyan natin na suporta, ay yung mga small ruminants, kambing, tupa, even poultry, native chickens, para you have various sources of protein during this pandemic. So tuloy-tuloy po yun in a big way. We are going even itong coconut, Cito, yung BCO, we are partnering with DOST plus DOH. Mayroon kaming ongoing study ngayon sa DOST in regard to the use of BCO as a, building your immune system. Nasabi mo,
Namimig
kasi ang ganda po ng growth ng kalamansi dito sa bansa. It's growing at the rate of 10% annually.
That's great, sir. Namimigay na po ba yung Philippine Coconut Authority ng mga seedlings para doon sa mga tinamaan ng kokolisap? Kasi ako naging recipient ako niyan at medyo malalaki na yung mga natanggap ko noon sa Philippine Coconut Authority.
Tama po, PCA with its new administrator is really upping their game. So yung mayroon massive distribution ng coconut seedlings na ito yung it's not the tall variety but the shorter variety na hybrid coconuts, and this is going to really enhance again the growth of this industry. On top of what is being distributed the Cito, mayroon rin massive program on increasing the diversity of the system under coconut, thereby increasing the income of the coconut farmers. So intercropping under coconut is now being pursued in a big way, much more under this pandemic.
Balita ko nga, ginagamit na nung iba yung turmeric o yung parang ano ba yun, yung parang luya ang tawag nila. Matanong ko lang, Secretary, last question. Kasi may mga lumapit po sa akin, may mga nagte-text sa akin na mga magbababoy. Nagkakaproblema raw sila because of the COVID-19 lockdown, ECQ, GCQ. Hindi sila makalabas ng bahay para bumili ng similya para sa breeding ng mga baboy or makaupa ng barako. Kasi alam mo naman na usually yung mga barako or the studs are brought by tricycle. And or you buy the semen, semen dun sa mga local laboratories, nagkakawindang-windang na raw yung breeding nila. Ano ba raw po bang magagawa ninyo para mabigyan sila ng special pass para lang makapagdala ng barako or makabili ng similya?
Okay, Sito, mabuti na tanong mo yan kasi under this period now ng implementing ECQ in some areas like Metro Manila and in some provinces, and most of the other areas are GCQ areas, agriculture and fishery ay open po 100%. Napayagan na po yan. And so lahat po sana yung problema na nabanggit po ninyo ay idulog lang sa amin at kami na yung tutulong po sa kanila kasi open na po because the IATF and even the President has already declared na food production must not be hampered as well.
Pero Secretary, kasi yung mga backyard po ang sinasabi natin, hindi sila mga organization or cooperatives. Saan sila kukuha o dudulog? Sa barangay nila o sa mayor's office?
Ngayon, dapat naman ang mga LGUs, mga local chief executives ay very clear po yung omnibus guidelines during this pandemic period, whether you are ECQ province or GCQ. So dapat hindi sila yung nagpapatupad ng iba outside this omnibus guidelines. Kasi yun ang isang problema natin early days of the ECQ, Cito. Ang daming mga LGUs na gumawa ng kanilang implementing guidelines na outside or against even the national IATF guidelines. So, dapat sangguni po sila doon sa MAO nila, yung Municipal Agricultural Officer or the Mayor himself or herself.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Secretary Dar. I think we picked up, at least we got positive news from your side, encouraging news, and sana dumating panahon makatikim na ako ng alimangong kasing laki ng plato.
Yes, maraming salamat, Cito. And I know you will be one with us in advancing the plan program. Marami pong salamat.
Stay strong, stay safe, stay healthy, sir. God bless you.
God bless us all.
Okay, that's Secretary William Dar of the Department of Agriculture. And in case you're not much into agriculture, I strongly suggest you start taking interest because from the way things are going, agriculture may be the first to rebound in terms of businesses, and it would also be a high employment area. So you would be helping the country. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we hope to speak with General Guillermo Eleazar, the chief implementer for the task force, and we will find out totoo ba itong nababalitaan namin na maraming nahuhuling akyat bahay, mga crimes against property. Let's find out from General Eleazar when we return. Okay. You're back. You're back here on Agenda. And next up, we have General Guillermo Eleazar, the Deputy Chief for Operations of the Philippine National Police and also the Commander of the Joint Task Force COVID Shield. General, good morning. Kamusta ka na, sir?
Yes, magandang umaga sa iyo, Cito. Pati na rin sa mga nakikinig at nanonood sa iyong programa. Mabuti naman. Maraming salamat, Cito.
Alam mo, natutuwa ako na interview kita sa opisina mo kasi kalma ka sa opisina mo. Pag nasa labas ka, na-high blood ka na lang kadalasan.
Yes, maraming salamat, Cito.
Kamusta ba ang sitwasyon on the ground? I've seen you go around and there have been incidents lately, medyo nakakatawag pansin, lalo na itong mga nag-i-smuggle ng alak sa loob ng kabaong, mga ex-police na lumulusot sa sa checkpoint at nagkakabarilan tuloy.
Yes, Cito, we are monitoring every day itong ating crime incidents. Actually, since we started this community quarantine, naka 50 days na tayo starting March 17 hanggang kahapon na May 5, 50 days. Kinukumpara natin itong mga incidents of crime natin for the past 50 days compared do sa last 50 days bago tayo mag-ECQ. And itong ating 8 focus crimes, itong mga index crime na sinasabi nating barometer ng peace and order, bumaba siya ng 67% sa whole of Luzon.
Okay.
58% for Visayas and 50% sa Mindanao. So average siya sa buong Pilipinas, 61% ang binaba niya. And well, of course, merong mga sumasalisi na sinasabi mo nga, na nagsasamantala, pero still, part na yun ng statistics natin. And I would like to elaborate more on yung naka-flash sa screen natin, itong tawag natin ng mga 8 focus crimes.
Yeah.
So makikita natin dyan yung crimes against persons, itong murder, homicide, physical injury, and rape, lahat bumaba. At doon naman sa crimes against property, yung 4 na huli, robbery, theft, carnapping, and motor napping, puro bumaba siya. At ang mataas sa pinakababa, itong crimes against property, itong naka-1. 70% ang binaba niya sa 4 na yan. But combined robbery and theft, ito ngayon yung sinasabi natin na talagang naka-1 ng mga properties natin, not motor vehicles, 68% ang binaba niya. And I check on this itong crime stat natin na for the first itong 50 days before itong ating ECQ, sa buong
Okay.
Pilipinas nag-average siya ng 150 incidents or crimes per day. Whereas ditong ECQ natin, ito pina-plus natin sa screen, 58 crimes per day na lang ang nangyayari, and nagsimula siya noong March 17 na pinakamataas na 88. While yung pinakahuli kahapon, 37 pinakababa. So, even though ito, kung ikukumpara natin ito nasa screen ito kasi yung first 50 days natin ng ECQ or community quarantine. Pag kinumpare natin ito doon sa last 50 days before the ECQ, siguradong mataas yan kasi nga bumaba ng 61% eh. Pero kung hindi natin ito, pababa pa rin siya. Now, ito, hinimay-himay ko pa ito, Cito, dito sa mga akyat bahay. And nakita natin na dun sa akyat bahay, even though itong time na ECQ natin, pababa pa rin siya. Pinakamataas niya is 20 sa isang araw, pinakababa is 2. At nakita natin yung trend niya, pababa pa rin siya. So I believe that because of this, logically, alam naman natin, the population and economic activity is directly proportional sa crime incidents. Kaya nga, itong from ECQ, maraming lugar naging GCQ. At we permitted the operation of, itong mga establishment, possibly, mas dadaming tao, baka tumaas. Ito nakikita natin sa screen, ito nga yung data ng ating akyat bahay. Mula na mag-start tayo, noong March 17 sa kaliwa, so pababa pa rin siya in essence. Meaning, effective yung ating pagbabantay dahil na rin sa visibility ng ating police. At the same time, the enforcement of our quarantine, yung akyat bahay, dapat talaga bababa dahil nasa bahay yung mga tao natin, di ba? So, paano pa makakasalisi? Even though, meron pa rin na pailan lumulusot. But basically, yun nga sinasabi natin, from ECQ to GCQ, mas maraming taong lalabas. So, possible na maaring tumaas siya from the end of April to May. Pero we will address this through the cooperation of the public.
You mentioned something very interesting, General Elizar, which I have been supporting for the longest time, yung police visibility. Kasi alam ko naman po na kapos kayo sa tauhan, the ideal numbers are not there. But given the statistics you presented, given the situation, clearly police visibility is a big thing. Now, kung i-analyze natin, curfew, police visibility, how many % is the influence of curfew versus police visibility on pushing the crime rate?
Well,
Going
wala
down.
tayong klarong statistics yan, pero pinagsama kasi natin yan Through the curfew, the people are prevented to go out kung unauthorized ka. So, the commission of the crime sa labas, talagang, the window of opportunity is lessened. Now, with regard to police visibility, kasi motive yan at saka opportunity. Even though you have the motive, if you don't have the opportunity, paano magagawa yung krimen niya? So yung paglabas mo, na-lessen yung with opportunity para gawin yun, so bumaba siya. At the same time, lumabas ka man, ando naman yung police natin, di na-lessen pa rin siya. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, Cito, now that from ECQ, naging GCQ siya, mas maraming taong lalabas, the motive could be constant, gigil na iba, pero yung opportunity, maaring tumaas. Kaya nga, tapatan natin yan ng more visibility. Kaya lang, ang pulis natin talagang stretch out na yan yung trabaho nila. What we are doing right now is to refocus or to redeploy our personnel doon sa mga lugar na tingin natin mas kailangan sila.
Okay, kasi malinaw na tumatalab yung police visibility at syempre we cannot just pull out all our uniformed personnel from the ground once ECQ is lifted, once GCQ is lifted. Kasi ang prediction is pag lahat ito na lift, itong quarantine na lift, para tayo mga kabayong nakawala sa koral at talagang sasakit ang ulo. So kailangan daw yung phased reduction of police visibility. How sustainable is it? What are you proposing under the new normal? Kasi ngayon marami na rin nag-iisip, pagkatapos nito, dadaing na kami sa Kongreso at Senado na madagdagan ng hospital, madagdagan ang mga laboratory facilities, nakikita na napaka-epektibo yung police presence and visibility. Kayo ba sa PNP, naghanap na ba kayo ng mga kakampi sa Kongreso para madagdagan naman kayo dahil kailangan naman talagang dagdagan?
Sito, ang dami nating kakampi sa Kongreso. Actually, talagang sila very supportive sa atin. And nakita kasi natin na before this community quarantine or ating pandemic, yung issue about curfew, malaking usapin na eh. Pero nakita naman natin nung when the MMDA through the Metro Manila Council, yun yung bago tayo mag-ECQ sa Luzon, I was there attending that conference. Nung sinuggest ito ng ating mga authorities, alam mo yung mga mayors natin sa Metro Manila, talagang sila ang pinag-usapan, anong oras? Hindi yung oo, hindi eh. In fact, yung napag-usapan na from 8 in the evening until 5 in the morning, iba 24 hours pa eh. So I believe that when we go back to this new normal natin, curfew is one significant intervention na pwede nating maituloy. Laging may curfew for those who are not working at night. Siyempre, alam mong curfew naman, exempted pa rin dyan ito mga permitted individuals because of their jobs, di ba?
Okay.
Pero napakaganda pa rin nun. Pero yung police visibility, pag kukunti ang tao sa labas, lalo na yung mga time na kung saan the commission of the crime is prevalent, sabay natin ang police visibility, ayun na, para tayong bumalik sa quarantine na na-lessen ang window of opportunity. And I believe, for what we have experienced on these past 50 days and the remaining 10 days to go, marami tayong natutuhan dyan na pati ang ating mga tao, tingin ko yung mga kriminal, yung mga hardened criminal na sagad sa buto, ayun na lang hanapan natin. But most of the people that have learned what we have witnessed on this experience and difficulties, tingin ko maraming magbabago sa kanilang pagninilay-nilay nito nakaraang 50 days na ito. Napalapit sa ating Diyos, at the same time, napaisip na ito na pagkakataon na magbagong buhay at tumulong sa pagpapaunlad ng ating bayan.
At malamang nawala na yung addiction nila, nawala na yung giyang nila.
Sana. Yes, I
Okay.
believe so na to some extent, merong mga ganyan. And iti-take advantage na yan. Pero alam mo, merong iba rin dyan talaga, babalik. Sabi nga natin, hindi naman na zero yung crime. Bumaba ng 61%, still, meron pa rin. Yung
Meron
mga sagad
pa rin.
sa buto. Pero andyan naman ang pulis natin to address that.
Okay, last question ko na lang, General, no? Tungkol sa drugs. Kasi yan ang pinakamalaking sakit ng ulo natin sa lipunan. But how has the ECQ, GCQ affected the drugs? Because before, maraming mga teorya eh. May mga nagsasabi, yung drugs na yan, lahat galing yan China, galing yan abroad, may mga factory dito, etc. Pero because of ECQ, GCQ, meron ba kayong mga na-realize, na-discover o nalaman regarding the flow and commerce of drugs?
Parang industry na rin kaya itong ating droga eh. Kaya itong pag nasupil or na-restrict yung ating economic activity, damay din sila. And nakita rin natin yung pagbaba ng incidents na yan. Kahapon nga, during our command conference, our Chief PNP, Police General Archie Gamboa, nagbigay ng instruction sa lahat ng mga unit commanders na ipursu yung ating campaign against illegal drugs. At nakita naman natin, kahit pa sinasabi natin na through the Joint Task Force COVID Shield, ito po yung aking pinamumunuan, nakasama dito yung AFP, Philippine Coast Guard and Bureau of Fire Protection, the PNP, ito yung lead unit po dito. We are deploying more than 65,000 personnel under this Task Force COVID Shield para sa implementation ng community quarantine. And yet, and still, ang ating pong mga pulis, andun pa rin at nagsasagawa ng operations against illegal drugs. Bumaba ang incident ng mga commission yan kasi nga for obvious reason, logical reason, pero patuloy na nagkakandak ng operation ng ating mga kapulisan. And we have learned something during these 50 days na pinag-aaralan ng ating mga pulis so that pagbalik natin sa new norm natin, magsasagawa tayo ng mas magandang operation para once and for all ay ituloy natin itong ating tagumpay on this campaign.
Okay, thank you very much, General Guillermo Elizar. And ako, huling-hiling ko na lang po, sana makita ko na yung mga color blue uniform nyo dahil talagang ayaw na ayaw ko niyang patig na yan. Anyway.
Yes, ito. Alam mo, ito kasi, itong uniform namin na ito, long sleeves para protection sa labas. Pero
Yes.
naglalabas na, maglalabas kami nung aming patrol uniform na merong sleeve siya na mahaba.
Ah,
Oo, kasi
okay.
pagpasensya niyo po kung, well, sabi nga sa inyo, 65,000 kami and the other component are 12,000. Pero ang tingin tuloy, puro kami mga military.
Sundalo.
Pero, lahing military din naman ang police. Pero the point is, kaya po naandito kami, naandyan, para nga protection. But with this uniform na ilalabas natin para makapag meron kaming laundry days din naman at mapalitan yan, mas maganda nga siguro para rin sa, well, makita na talagang ito yung mga pulis na yung uniform niya is not just like the uniform of the military. But just the same, military o police, pare-pareho po yan na naglilingkod sa ating bayan at kung meron kayong reklamo sa pang-abuso, agad yung iparating sa amin at aming aaksyonan.
Okay. Kalma lang ha, General, kahit maraming pasaway kasi ayokong ma-high blood ka. God bless you.
Opo.
Please
Yes,
stay
sir.
safe,
Opo.
stay strong,
Tatanda ko
and
po
stay
lagi yan.
healthy.
Salamat, Cito.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's General Guillermo Eleazar. He is the task force commander for Task Force COVID Shield. And we will now carry on with the initial attempts earlier this morning to interview Tony Lavinia, former Dean of Ateneo Law School and former Undersecretary, I believe, of the DNR. Pero bago yan po, no? I was trying to get into the Balik Provincia discussion or my monologue, and I got a response from Governor Artiap, one of our good friends and governor of Bohol. Balik probinsya, it should be balik munisipyo. Sideline mga governor sa program implementation. Ay nako, I don't know if we will have a chance to interview Governor Artiap, but that's a serious concern na yung pinaka-leader ng isang probinsya ay hindi makakasali sa implementation ng program ni Senator Bongo na unang idea naman na sinare sa akin ni Mayor Alfred Romualdez. I just give credit where credit is due. Of course, we all thought of that same idea. In any case, I don't know if Attorney Professor Dean Tony Lavinia will make the connection. Sir, good morning ulit.
Good morning, Cito. Is this
Okay,
better?
wonderful. Yes, wonderful. Okay. Tirayan na natin yung usapan sa ABS-CBN. What are your initial comments on the situation?
Well, it's terrible. It's bad. We are in a pandemic. Kailangan sana na we have all the sources of information and also entertainment at this time, di ba? And suddenly, without warning, it was taken away from the Filipino people. So let's be very clear. This yesterday was a bad day, and we need to correct it. It's very clear to me, Cito, where what has to be done, yung correction dito.
Which is?
No court, don't go to court. That will lead you to 3, 5, 4 years, months of litigation. Congress, and don't go to the NTC. The NTC, while directly responsible yesterday, is a minor player here. No, I mean, it's Congress, it's the House of Representatives. They have to act now. They have to act this week. In 2 weeks, you can pass a law. The Bayanihan to Heal Act took 1 day. Isang araw lang, Cito. Isang araw lang. This is almost as important, no? because people rely on ABS-CBN for news, and there's 11,000 workers whose jobs are at stake. Thankfully, nakita ko na which I really praise the ABS-CBN management and owners for 3 months daw parang papatuloy sila magsweldo at lahat ng mga benepisyo. I mean, but we can't wait for those 3 months because of the information that we need. No, so Congress, House of Representatives, Committee on Legislative Franchises, una. Plenary ng House of Representatives. Senate says it can pass it in 1 or 2 days, or certainly in a week's time.
Tony, do you seriously believe that BS? I'm sorry, I have to call it what it is. Kasi sinabi na nila yan noon eh. Sinabi noon ni Cayetano, we're too busy, we have other priorities. Franz Alvarez, could not be found. He was somewhere with his constituents now. And the Senate kept mouthing and mouthing, oh, that's no problem. We can deal with it. But you pointed out, with the Bayanihan bill, they did it in one day.
Yeah, the NTC called the bluff on them. The NTC said, well, gagawin namin yung technical. Mali din yung NTC ha. Let me be very clear about that.
Why?
Mali yung NTC. Well, because in the past, every single franchise that have expired is given a provisional authority, first of all.
Aha. Nako. Okay. I don't know if what happened there, but I'm beginning to suspect someone has a ray gun aimed at certain lines of our resource person. I'm sorry, but I just really can't contain myself on this issue, especially after Dean Lavinia pointed out that it took Congress and the Senate only one day to pass the Bayanihan Act. Now, of course, in comparison, ano ba naman yung franchise compared to saving the nation or helping government cope with the pandemic? But on the other hand, it makes you think, who can we trust in situations like this? We have elected officials who say one thing but does another. And then we have government officials who have no recourse but to simply do their job or be under threat of court cases by fellow government officials, etc. So parang labo-labo na ang labanan. In any case, I don't know if we can connect with there. We'll try again. Okay, Tony, you were saying.
Well, exactly. But you have to, although yung mas importante syempre yung Bayanihan Will Act, very complicated, billions and billions and billions of pesos na nagawa in one day. This is a very simple decision, di ba? And it can be made in a week's time. There's no need to that's why wag tayo magpa-divert to the court. Forget about the NTC because they're a minor player here. Even if they're responsible for yesterday's closure, the NTC is responsible. It has to be Congress. Now, the president is saying na wala siyang pakialam. I don't believe that's the case. I think the overall responsibility to this is still with the president. But i-call naman ng Congress, why should the House of Representatives, bakit nila tanggapin na sila ang may kasalanan, di ba? Let the president veto it and make the decision na, okay, we don't want this anymore. We don't want ABS-CBN anymore. We fire these people. I mean, ganun kasimple yun.
You've been a lawyer long enough, Tony. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Well, the Marcos period was like this, remember?
Okay.
I mean, yun nga, at least ito, nakapag-goodbye pa sila Canoli kahapon, sila Ted at Bernadette. Yeah. Yung yun, wala lang, bigla na lang nawala, di ba? Kahapon, maraming nanood, umiiyak sa last moment sila nakita ng ABS-CBN kasi nila alam kung babalik pa si Cardo, babalik pa yung mga I mean, at least may
bilib nga ako sa NTC eh. Biruin mo, walang makapatay kay Cardo, sila sulat lang nadali nila.
Yeah. But as I said, di ba, yung mali yung NTC because other franchises have always been given provisional authority pag nag-expire. Ang sabi nila kasi may legal issues, that's irrelevant. The legal issues na sinasabi nila is about whether ABS-CBN violated its franchise. Yun ang nasa COA to petition, di ba? They cannot close a broadcasting company, a radio or a TV company. On that basis, dapat muna mag-investigate sila, mag-show cause muna sila. So mali yung NTC, let's be clear. Wag na mag-motion for recon sa NTC. Let this go to Congress. Let the House of Representatives, and I think the Senate can do this in one day, in 2 days.
Okay, no? But wait a minute. The Senate can pass it, but it has to be Congress where it emanates from.
No, the Senate cannot act until the House passes it. That's
exactly.
So, but hindi problema ang Senate. We know we have the vote. ABS-CBN has the votes there. So, depende yan dun sa sa House of Representatives. Let them be the one responsible for killing ABS-CBN. Now, if they pass it and the Senate passes it and the President vetoes it, let the President be responsible.
Okay, now it has to be Congress, the Committee on Legislative Franchise, who needs to either give life or kill the ABS-CBN franchise. Okay, granted. Ngayon, kung hindi nila ma-aksyonan, na dribble, is there a legal period or they can take their wonderful time while 11,000 employees go hungry?
Well, right now, parang may leeway ng konti because in terms of the employees kasi parang the law officers have been very gracious about that. From what I've seen, that's not official because I just saw mga posts from employees na they won't be fired tomorrow. No? I mean, but this is not the only issue. The greater issue here is our people. Our people lost.
Yeah. Our people lost, but I'm sorry. Loyalties fade in time, and especially when someone else replaces that requirement. But in case of in terms of ABS-CBN, okay, walang time pressure for Congress or for the committee to pass this. May political pressure now, pero in terms of legal pressure, they can take their sweet time, correct?
Well, if they choose to do that, if they choose to do that, kung hindi nila pakinggan yung tao, then they can do that actually. They've done that, di ba? Yan naman ang ginawa nila, di ba? Let's be very clear about this, na nangyari ito kasi hindi sila umaksyon, di ba? Ng years ng inaction.
Okay. Now, here's my concern, Tony. Okay, sabihin na natin, dinidribble, hanggang natapos na yung current Congress. Magkakaroon na ulit ng eleksyon, may panibagong, and we're talking about 2.5 years, okay? And job losses, economic losses, closure of a business. Pwede bang kasuhan itong mga members of Congress na ito, yung NTC in a international court or somewhere? Because I've seen or heard about that in the past na you couldn't get justice in your own country, so you went to a foreign court dahil sinira yung kabuhayan mo, you didn't get any fair warning, you didn't get enough time to close the business, etc.
May option siguro. We would have to study the options there, no? Lalo na may violations of rights dito. But
Yeah.
I'll push back on that. Even local courts, court processes are even longer than political processes, di ba?
Yeah.
So sayang lang yung effort, sayang lang yung energy doon, yung resources na ilalagay mo. All our resources now should be on the politics of this, di ba?
Of the franchise.
That tutok lang ng tutok. Ang daming galit ngayon. Let them pay the consequences for that, lalo na may election. Let them pay the consequences for that. I mean, ako din, alam mo, I'm sorry, Cito, but I think the overall responsibility for this is still with the president. I mean, true, may independence yung NTC, but in terms of the executive branch, we know that the NTC is under the president, and the president.
Well, you can call, let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
He filed he started the complaint. He aired his and rightfully so, pero yung bang disgrasyang inabot niya nanalo naman siya. Disgrasyang inabot niya, biglang ngayon ay mawawalan ng trabaho 11,000 Filipinos, mawawalan ng negosyo ang pinakamalaking No, but you see, I don't trust Congress in this matter. I really don't. They dribbled this franchise to eternity until the company closed. So I'm just presuming that that franchise is not going to happen. And so therefore, the people who own the business and the employees will ultimately have to find redress, will have to sue for damages. And that is my contention. Kung hindi makuha yung franchise, pwede bang habulin sa ibang korte itong mga taon to na naging pabaya sa trabaho nila?
Ombudsman, of course, is where you can do this. I mean, in the Philippines, kasi dereliction of duty.
But the perception is you're not going to get justice here because the primary complainant was the president. The boss of the NTC is the executive department or the president, and the head of the congressional parties is the president. So you will have to find recourse outside of the country.
Yeah, but it's challenging to do that, diba? Yung lalo na damages, because damages usually is domestic in nature, and kahit na makuha mo yun internationally, you have to implement it here, and to implement it here, you need the courts here to get involved, no? So I say that that option is fairly limited. May option na legal internationally sa violation of rights, no?
Okay.
For example, lalabas ito sa review ng United Nations Human Rights Council sa report on the Philippines, because this is a violation of press freedom, no?
Yes.
So for sure, nasa top ito ng mga list, no? I mean, ito, Inquirer, Rappler, will be in the list of violation of the right to press freedom. Right now, we're doing a review. I mean, the UN is doing a review. United Nations is doing a review of our human. So all of that will be happen. Incredible, Cito, ang foreign coverage nito, ha?
Hello. Slight delay. Come on, we can do this. Okay. I guess we are not going to complete, but it was just getting interesting. And as far as Dean Tony Lavinia is concerned, his suggestion is don't take this matter, don't take it up with the NTC anymore as far as Channel 2 is concerned, or ABS-CBN. Do not file any memorandum for reconsideration, and do not go to courts but go to Congress. And kung hindi naman po maasikaso ng Congress, okay, there we go. So Tony, we were talking about various options, and you were saying don't take it up in court, bring it to Congress. If Congress does not move on it, make them pay for their sin by making sure that all of them are elected out of office, etc. Any last words, Tony?
Well, as I said, yesterday was a terrible day. The president is overall responsible for this. Congress is directly responsible. NTC should be condemned for its arbitrary decision. But the power lies on the people for us to reverse this. And believe me, just in the last 30 days alone, maraming beses natin na-reverse yung government for what they have been doing that's bad. I mean, they've been doing good things too, and I support the good things like ECQ, I support that. But they've tried to do bad things too, and we pushed back, and we have succeeded also. And we can succeed in doing this, but we have to be united.
Okay. In any case, thank you very much, Dean Tony Lavinia, and please stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy, sir.
Thank you, you too, Cito.
Okay, God bless you. Okay, that's Dean Tony Lavinia, and very interesting suggestions or advice that he gives through ABS-CBN, but more importantly, to all of us. Because like I said at the start of the program, this can happen to any of us in different ways. And we need to be careful that we do not fall into the trap of politicians. Huwag po tayong masyadong nagpapaniwala sa mga pangako na puro naman dribble. At ito po ay particular do sa mga congressman who are supposed to be responsible for this. In any case, that's it for me today. It's been rough in terms of connectivity, which reminds us we need to improve our connections. You need to get PLDT fiber connected, and we need to get the telcos up and running. So yung mga LGUs, mga mayor, mga governor, mga barangay captain, parang awan nyo na, payagan nyo na yung pagtayo ng mga cell sites sa lugar nyo, or else kayo rin ang magdudusa. I'm Cito Beltran, and that was today's agenda. And please take care of yourself, stay strong, stay healthy, and stay safe. God bless you.